Hi, seid ihr bereit für eine neue Folge Brett Time Stories? Der maßlose Brettspiel-Podcast aus dem Westflügel Remscheids und der Dunkelkammer Bochums. Mit Haider und dem Potti. Zwei Typen, die früher mal cool waren. Viel Vergnügen.
Einen wunderschönen guten Tag, meine Freunde und Freundinnen. Ich bin immer noch aufgeregt, der Daniel mindestens genauso. Er hat mir schon vor ein paar Tagen immer ein paar Nachrichten geschickt, dass er schon zittrig ist. Und ich begrüße euch recht herzlich zu dieser Ausgabe Brett Time Stories. Ich persönlich finde es eine recht besondere Ausgabe aufgrund unseres Gastes. Und ich bin mal gespannt, wie er jetzt reagiert, denn der Daniel hat ja immer ein kleines Start-up, eine kleine Spezialität vorbereitet. So Daniel, the stage is yours.
This Romeo is bleeding, but you can't see his blood. It's nothing but some feeling, but without you, I give up. Oh, ich habe mich versungen, aber...
I know the track. You also know it, Vital?
I think so. It's Tom Waits, right?
It's John Bon Jovi.
Bon Jovi.
John Bon Jovi,
Okay,
and it's
sorry.
always, Anna. Is it correct?
Yes, this is totally correct.
Very nice.
Always. Song of...
Okay, sorry. I just missed that one. I thought it was, Tom Waits, but it's okay.
So normally, if Daniel is performing 10 songs, I know one of them. So it's a special moment for me that I know what he's singing about. So
yeah,
yes.
Nearly at the start of every episode, I'm performing one song of the 90s. But this is not the important thing today.
Yeah, so let me introduce the one and only, one of my favorite game designers, Lacerda. Nice to meet you.
Hello, nice to meet you guys. And thank you for inviting me.
Yeah.
Oh, yes.
So Daniel was very looking forward since I talked to him that we are in contact, and he can't realize that it becomes true. So
the last days I couldn't sleep because
really?
Nearly 10 days ago Potti gave me a screenshot of his email, and I recognized what Vital will join us. A very exciting moment. So
and we delayed the meeting a few times, right? Because I've been busy these days and a lot of work. Many people ask me for things, so yeah.
Okay,
it's difficult to have. Yeah,
everything's fine because yesterday or I think for 2 days, Vital and me talked about the meeting, and I just wanted to make everything fixed. And he said, "So, do you send me the link?" So, yes, I do. And he said, "So, I think it's in spam." So everyone writes an email. So
yeah, I missed the first one, but yeah, I got this one.
Yeah, so Vital, for the few persons who didn't know who you are, would you have a short introduction in your person? What are you doing? And
oh, really? There are persons that don't know who I am?
I don't really think so.
I'm kidding. So my name is Vital Lacerda. I'm a game designer for a few years now, and I usually design heavy games. So some of my games, some people knows them and like them, others don't. So, but it's the most known games that I designed was probably Kanban, The Gallerist, On Mars this last year, and Lisboa. So probably they are the ones that most of the people know. And that's it. So besides being a game designer, I worked for many years in advertising agencies. And I was a guy from the ads. So, and I could gather both my skills on advertising with the skills that I need to make new games. So that's me. Not much a big story. So,
I think the story is much bigger than you think it is. So Vital, normally at the start of each episode, we are showing a special drink we are drinking today. And what are you drinking today during this episode?
I'm not drinking anything, but I know that you are. So.
Okay.
Should I get a beer too? So,
if you were in my room, I will share it with you.
Okay. I accept that one. So German beer is my favorite one. So anyway,
that's a nice comedy.
I always like to go to Essen to have some drinks at night and with friends. and I try. I do the best to try a lot of different ones because you really guys have really good beer, and I'm a beer guy. Well, I'm a wine guy too, but I just love beer.
Okay, when we'll meet this year at the booth, I will bring a German beer for you. Hopefully, Essen takes place. But I don't only drink beer; I drink German water. So it's really clear German water. And as well, I brought a gin of my friend. Looks like a small version, like from the hotel bar or something like this. So it's the Huckleberry Gin, and the subtitle is Auf die Freundschaft, for friendship.
Cool.
It's a gin concerning it's blueberry inside. So we find blueberry. I will have a taste.
I have to explain why I started laughing since you was talking about that you like to drink beer in Essen, because Martin Wallace was also a guest in our podcast, and we asked him if he knows other game designers, and he said, no, I don't, but when I'm at a pub in Germany, I would drink some beer with them, and then we talk, and so that because of this, I have to laugh a little bit. I drink a special beer from Bochum. It's Moritz Fiege Gründer. The translation would be Moritz Fiege Founder, because the first team of the VfL Bochum won the championship of the second league in Germany and goes straight to the first league. Since Schalke 04 goes down to the second one. And so it's a special moment because you are here and we are going to the first league. So
cheers for you guys. Yeah.
Cheers. Yes, cheers. So the most important question of today, will Cristiano Ronaldo return back to Portugal?
We don't know yet.
To Sporting.
Sporting is saying that yes, but we don't know yet. He didn't answer yet, so I don't know. I don't think Sporting has enough money to pay Ronaldo, but we'll see. Yeah.
So you're also interested?
It's too expensive.
So you're also interested in football?
Well, not much. I watch some football. I have a club. My team is Benfica. So it's the other team from Sporting. Sporting won this year the championship. So I'm not a big fan of football, but I watch some games and I like to see the country football. So selections against selections, and I usually watch the World Cup and the European Cup. So not much. I'm not a fan of clubs because, well, in Portugal, our football is not that good. So we have great players, but the players goes away from Portugal. Well, I shouldn't say that. I shouldn't say this in live because many people will not like to hear it, but it's true. It's at least for me. It's my opinion. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that's really true. Vital, what did you do today? Did you work on some games we can expect?
Well, yeah, I'm working on the rule book for Weather Machine, the next one. So the game is closed, completely closed, but I'm waiting for the art from Tool. And while I'm waiting, I'm doing the layout of the rule book. And yeah, I'm working with also with in other designs at the same time. The next game, that is a secret. I cannot tell you about that yet because it's not totally decided. But I'm working in a few games. I'm working in a small one like I did with Mercado also, with a Portuguese friend designer. That is called Factory Bot. It's not a secret anymore. It's on BGG. And it's a small game based on Kanban. So that's basically the games that I'm working on. But most of my time, like 90% of the time, is to Weather Machine. Yeah. Still.
So there's a real big fan base in Germany. I think many people will expect your games. I as well.
Oh, I hope so.
Yes. It is always a new Lacerda will be released. It's yeah. I think in our how do you say our community you are like a rock star.
Oh, thank you very much for that. I don't know about that, but it's okay. My games are are heavy. So the target for those is relatively small, right? It's not many people that play those games. Well, you play. I'm seeing the games behind you, but most of the people don't. But usually the ones who played keep playing them and come back to them again and again and waiting for my games, and that is cool. Yeah. I have a very I have fans that play my games and wait for the next ones, as you say. Yeah, that's cool to know.
That's a very nice point. And now I have a citation from your homepage. And if I go through your homepage, at the start or at the top of your page, there's a header, and there's it's not just games, it's also an experience. If you love playing and feel ready for the next level in complexity and depth, try one of my games. They are known for the experience theme and for having the most crazy interlocking mechanisms. All games start with very simple core mechanics, which leads to a web of interconnected lines of tough created for gamers with experience in heavy games who like to be challenged. And that's a very, very interesting thing of your games. When I talk to people and I talk about my games of Vital Lacerda, I said to them, it's the special thing. On the one hand, you have the very, very complex mechanics. Most of them are very complex mechanics. On the other hand, you have the theme. And the special thing is the combination of both, because my experience of Euro games or games with Euro style mechanics are that the theme is it's not locked with the mechanics, and in your games it's the other way of doing games. And my special example is On Mars. I love this game very much, and you have the feeling that everything that what you're doing for has a special point of the theme, because you have to use the shuttle. If the shuttle is away, you have to use your rockets. And so everything what you're doing is specially connected from mechanic and the theme. So tell me why this happened. How can you produce such things? I'm overblown.
Well, a lot of work and time, right? Many playtesting, but usually that's my goal. I'm looking for games that can connect both. I usually start the game, designing the game by the team. Going even back, if I don't like the team, I don't design the game about it. So, and I usually do some research about the team first before I start any game. And if the team, if I like the team and I think it can be a good game, I make a prototype based on it, and the mechanisms are built around the team. Maybe that's why some mechanisms look so complex, because I'm not thinking a lot of streamline them unless they make sense. Okay, so of course with a lot of playtests I streamline the game as much as I can, but they still have to make sense for the team to work, because I think it's easier for me to build the game from based on the team than just look for mechanisms and start to building a game. It's much more difficult, and I admire the designers that can do that. Like, just I think I hope I'm not telling a big mistake, but one of my favorite designers, Stefan Feld, the German one, thinks is building the game from the mechanisms, and then he places the team on the top. For me, it's much difficult to do that. I prefer to. I think it's something that is in me, and I like to work that way. So I research first, and then how can I, for instance, on Mars, how can I reach the people who says that we are colonizing the planet? But before we start, we arrive the planet, we have to have some resources there already waiting for us, right? Will be very difficult for us to arrive on Mars, and there is nothing there. So when you start the game, you already have some things prepared for you, and you already have the settler, you already have some ways to produce power, and you already have a mine. And the story is that we send some robots first that is happening, right? Mars now, the inhabitants of Mars right now is just machines, right? So you have the rovers there. So the rover is another thing. I have to place the rover because they were there before we arrived. Mm-hmm. So all of this thinking about the team helps me to design the game and develop the game the best I can. The mechanisms come after. How can I show that the colony is growing? So every time we can increase all the things we need to survive there. We need power, we need water, we need food, we need oxygen. So that's the only way that we can receive more people there, right? Mm-hmm. So why can I only bring more ships after we reach the colony level 2? Because we need to support them. If you don't have enough to support them, they cannot arrive, or they will arrive and die, right? So, and many people say, "Oh, that's a mechanism that you don't need. That's very complicated to remember. I never remember." Well, if you think about the team, you can remember, because if I don't have food to give to the player, to the colonists that arrive, they will die. So it's stupid not have food, right? So, and it's stupid to call some new colonists if we can provide the needs they have. So just think about the team and you understand why you are doing that stuff. And for me, it's easier to design like that. And that's the way I like to see the games. And that's the way I like to play the games also. Yeah.
So I think this is a big advantage to play your games, because they are connected to a kind of intuition of the player, for the players who play a lot. So I'm the man for the philosophical questions here. So I made some notes, and what I wrote down was to teach your games or to learn your games is not the difficulty, because let me choose the gallerist or Kanban. You find the spots where you can choose what you do, and it's very clear. It's obvious what you can do, but the difficulties in your games, I think, is to play that good, to connect your to make your decisions, or to choose wisely, to connect those possibilities is the difficulty at the end. So I taught Kanban a few weeks ago to a friend of mine who never ever played a complex game. And he recognized what he can do, and he enjoyed it a lot, and said, "Wow, what a great game!" He was very, very fast into the game, into the theme, because of the facts you mentioned, I think. So this is a real big advantage of your games. They are very complex, but they are good to learn or good to teach.
Yeah, sorry, my phone was ringing. Yeah, I try to do that in all of them. In Vinhos, I think the games have some logical, because you want to produce wine, so you need wineries, right? That's the logical. If you spend all your money and don't have wineries, you cannot produce wine. So in Kanban, you need to have the designs and to upgrade the parts for the cars, because that's how, and you have to test them, because if you don't test the parts on the cars, you have to take them out from the streets a few years later, right? Saying that, okay, the brakes are not working. We didn't test them. So that's why we have that in the game. That's my line of thoughts. In Lisboa, for instance, Lisboa can be a more difficult case, because you have to understand the story of Lisbon in this case, or at least to read what is on the rule book. And many people who teach the game doesn't know the history and have some difficulties in explaining it because of that. But if you understand how what happens and what you are doing, it's much easier to understand why the church is there, and why you have to discard some tiles to get influence and points, because the marquis didn't like the church. They think they have too much power, so you have to lose some power to be on the nice highs of the marquis. That's the way you can explain the game and people remember. I think if you explain like that, for instance, in Lisboa again, the docs is where you do your business, right? That's when you discard some resources to give to the nobles, and the nobles give you something in return, because it's a very obscure business there, not on the highs of the palace when you go and use your influence to have meetings with them. It's very different. You are doing this very transparent and not on the docks, right? So these two different things, if you explain them, you explain the players why you are doing these things, I think it's much easier to understand the games. And then to play well, I don't play well my games anyway, so I know how to design them, but I'm not a good player. Well, maybe Kanban, I'm not bad, but I always lose the galleries, for instance. So, and venues, I have most of my playtesters are much better than me playing them. And the new game here, Weather Machine, I lose all the time. So it's the playtesters are much better than me playing this game. Maybe because they play the game more than me already. So, but yes, the way you explain the game, if you can find if you try to understand why I implement those mechanisms and why I place them in the game, there's something that makes me really sad when I hear people saying that, yeah, your games are complex just because they are complexity, because you like to add some complexity without any reason. But I can assure you that every mechanism that I place in the game has a reason for it. So I'm just not inventing things. Okay, I want to make this more difficult. It's not that. I like to have more feeling about the team, and if I place a mechanism that gives that feeling and makes the game a little bit more complex, well, you have another games that are not that complex, so don't play them. Don't play these ones. But well, I think I'm succeeding, right? Many people likes the games, and the games are on the top 100 of BGG. So something good I'm doing, right?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, something right. Yeah.
Maybe that's the main clue. If Daniel and I try to explain your games, we have just to understand the story behind the game, so we can explain it in a few minutes, because every mechanism makes sense in doing the story and understanding the story.
Yeah, I think it's the best way to do it. And I make an effort to, since I'm doing the rule books usually, I always write something about the mechanisms connected to the team that helps the players that is reading the mechanisms to explain to the other players why they are there and why you are doing that. I usually make some effort to write something on the team about each mechanism, and I'm doing this today. I was doing this today on the Weather Machine rule book. So, yeah. Paul Grogan is the one who's making the edition of the game, of the rules, and he's waiting for me to finish that so he can then edit, because my English is not a native English, of course, so you have to have some editing, a lot of editing, but I usually wrote those parts.
Yeah, but this is a good connection, I think. Paul Grogan, Ian O'Toole, Eagle Griffin, and Vita Lacerda as well.
You are forgetting about a guy that is very important, that is Paul Incow. Paul Incow is the developer of the game. He works with me since, I don't know, the galleries probably. Yeah, it's a very nice guy. He just do it because he just likes to work with me and likes to be challenging. And it's very important in the creative process, because when I have questions about some mechanism or some part of the game that is not working, he's looking for solutions with me, and we discuss a lot. And and of course, the playtesters. The playtesters are the most important part of the game. If you don't have good playtesters, you cannot have a good game. I usually say that are the playtesters who does the game. I'm just here to filtering what are the good ideas and the bad ideas. If I can choose well, I can have a good game. If I choose them bad, I don't have a good game. So, yeah. But basically, those guys are the ones who make the games. I cannot do the games by myself. I'm just the face, you know. There are a lot of people working on the game
behind the curtain.
Yeah,
okay,
behind the curtain. Yeah,
sounds good.
But how many hours in play testing are in your games? Because I think they're very big complexity. complexity. And I know some guys who are playtesting your games also on Tabletopia, I think, or TTS.
Yes.
And how many hours are spent in testing these games? Because in my opinion, there are a lot of hours that these games are worked.
There are a lot of hours. I playtest. Usually, I playtest intensely, almost like 5 times a week. I start to playtesting for around 5 times a week, or 4 to 5 times a week. More games, because sometimes I open 2 games at the same time, and I'm watching 2 games and working with 8 people at the same time, 8 playtesters. It's an average of 9 games a week during a year, at least during a year. And some playtesters can tell you that the beginner games, or the first games, take 8 hours to finish, because we discuss most of the time instead of playing, and many games we don't finish them. We just play them, and the game is completely broken, and doesn't work. So yeah, that's a lot of hours on playtesting. That's a lot of hours, but it's the way to make the game. It's with playtesting. We can never have a good game without playtesting, and I do it a lot. Many designers prefer to just design the game and give the game to the publisher to playtest a few times, and that's okay, because they are genius, so they can do it. I can't. I have to work and playtest again and change it and playtest again, and that's the way I work. It takes a long time. Usually I start a game. Well, Weather Machine, I started 5 years ago, probably. And 2 years ago, last time I've been at Hessen, 2019, probably. Yeah. So I presented the game to the publisher to see if they want the game. So it's 2 years ago. And I was already playtesting the game, not much, and it's working. So I designed the game already, and then it stays a few months on the shelf. I always do this with my games. I have a lot of games on the shelf waiting for me to pick them up and start playtesting really hard to finish it. So, and that's what happens with Weather Machine. Last year, 2020. I started playtesting really hard in around March, and we only stop now. And we only stop now, and I'm waiting for the art from Ian to playtest a few times ago or again already with the finished game, because the latest ones we playtesting was only a white sheet with all the icons there. So, and I don't even saw the art yet. I don't know how the game will end up. It's on the hands of Ian O'Toole right now.
Yeah,
I know what I want. We discussed it. It will be settled on steampunk environmental, but I didn't see anything yet. So, I see some meeples that I published on the internet, and I have the cover of the rulebook that I cannot show you yet, but I don't have anything else. I didn't see the board yet. I didn't see the player boards. I didn't see the cover. I didn't see anything. So only Ian knows it. So right now.
So I have 2 funny questions. The first one is, did Ian ever presented pictures to you that you say, "Oh, Ian, what did you do?" And was there any game that somebody said, "Oh, Vital, Lacerda game? No, go away with that"?
Oh yeah, that many times. Yeah, many times says, "Oh, it has that name in the cover. I cannot play that." Yeah, many people says that. But that's not the worst. The worst is those who play the game 1 hour and give up at mid game and say this game is not good because it's too complex. I don't like it. I understand everything and the game is broken. Something like that. I read some threads in BGG last month saying that Lisboa is broken because he played 10 times, 5 times, 2 times, 1 time. And he said, "Oh, this game is broken. We cannot play this." So Lisboa is a game that was released 5 years ago, already.
2017,
and many people.
yes.
Yeah. So 4 years ago, and many people played it, and we play tested for a long time before that, and nobody noticed that the game was broken. And this guy played it a few times and said, "Oh, the game is broken." So, well, that is what hurts, right? You know, understand? So that's what makes me more sad about that. Not people that say, "Yeah, that's that name in the cover. I cannot play that." Well, there are other games. There are 1,000 games a year. Just go to Hessen and you have a lot of games to play. So, and many very good. It depends. You cannot please everybody, right? And if you try to design a game that pleases everybody, the game will not be good. So you have to know the targets. You have to know the people who will play your games. And basically what I think is I have to love the game. So I can't release a game that I don't like to play it. I still play my games. Doesn't matter how many years they have, I still like to play them. And I think that is the most important thing. Because the games I design are the games I play. So I play, of course, games from other designers, but I always look for complex games. I play not many, not complex games, so easy games, family games. I play some family games. I have some with my family usually, but it's very rare for me to look for a gaming night with easy games. I usually like to have like 3 hours in the evening to play one game.
So you can join. You can join to our Twilight Imperium group if you like to.
Yeah, I never played it, but I would like to try it once. Yes, yeah. But it was a game that I never played it. I don't know why. It just never appears. There are so many games. You have one great one there, Barrage, after you. It's a good one. Yeah, it's a great one from last year. And I played The Gallerist. I like it also. It's next to Gloomhaven. So, yeah. I'm seeing Kanban also, yeah. But, yes, about Ian. We have some discussions sometimes. Sometimes I don't like stuff that he does. Sometimes he can convince me that it's better than what I think. And sometimes I can convince him that he have to improve it. So, it's a working relationship like everybody has, right? Sometimes we agree, sometimes we disagree. But basically, most of the time, I'm very happy with his work. I really like his work. He never misses the covers. He always is very focused on the covers. The covers are always great. But then I may have a different idea for an icon or for some part of the board that I think is not working well, and he changed it and we work together. We talk like every day. The most difficult part is like he's on Australia and I'm in Portugal, and it's like 8 hours difference. When he's sleeping, I'm awake. When I'm sleeping, he's awake. So sometimes I receive messages from him at 3 a.m. in the morning, or I sending messages. It's there like 2 or 3 hours in the morning also. And but sometimes we can be both awake. Most of the time it's him that goes to the bed later on. But yeah, not me, because I don't wake up very early. Well, I wake up very early, but I usually have stuff to do in the morning, very early in the morning. I start working here on my computer where I am now around 9:30. It's not very early, but yeah, that's the time. And I keep working until, I don't know, depends in the mood. Sometimes I just stop to play some sax, some music. Sometimes I just work straight all night or all day. Yeah.
So then you're working much more than Martin Wallace, because he said, I have a very nice life because the whole day I'm watching Netflix and my wife is working.
Oh, really?
But he said, but Vital, could you imagine that there will be a time in which you are working with other people than Ian O'Toole and Eagle Griffin Games? Because in my opinion, it's like an institution. If you are buying at this point of time a game of Vital Lacerda, it's in my opinion one of the best mechanics. It's one of the best artworks and also the materials from the publisher are awesome.
So why should I change then?
Yeah, that's a question.
If your team is winning, are you changing the team?
No, but
unless the players worth a lot of money, right? So that's the only way for the team to sell them and get new ones. But I work with different teams already before I start working with Eagle Griffin. The first Kanban and CO2 was published from different companies. Kanban was published by Stronghold. Venus was published by What's Your Game, and CO2 was published by an Italian company. What's Your Game? I think
Giochix. Oh, it was
Giochix. Yeah, Giochix was CO2, but when I published Venus, I can remember if What's Your Game was English, Italian at that time or German, because they moved their house to Germany for a while, and now they are Portuguese. So they are working on Portugal. But I worked in different teams a few times, and we don't know what the future reserves to us, right? We never know. Maybe I can always. I don't have a contract that I can only work with Eagle Griffin games. I can work with whatever I want, but I really like to work with them, and they are just for now just like a family for me. So
I think this is a good decision.
Was it one of your goals if you're starting developing board games? Because we talked to Sandy Peterson, and he said one of his main goals was to produce luxury board games. And if you play a Vital Lacerda game, I think it's also luxury, because you have to pay a special price for it, but it's the value of the game, I think. But was it the goal or was it a benefit?
I think it was a benefit. And everybody, I think on this team, everybody just came together by chance. It was not something that we planned. Because, for instance, Ian O'Toole just sent me an email. I was looking for someone to make the art of the gallerist. And he sent me an email saying that I would like to work with you because I like your games, and I can do that. If you have any game to do, I can do it really fast. And he delivered me the galleries in 15 days. So,
oh my goodness.
Yeah. So, and we started working together. It was just by chance. I was looking for, it's, that expression that in the right time at the right place, or in the right place at the right time. That's what happens. So he just sent me an email when I was looking for an artist to make the galleries. And Eagle Griffin, I didn't know Eagle Griffin by that time. And I said to them, okay, I make all the game for you, and you publish it, because I know that your production is very good. And they said, we don't have time. Our team is very small. We don't have time to publish and play testing heavy games. And I said, no, I do it for you. I do everything. I play test it. I design. I will find someone to make the art, and then I deliver the game ready for you to produce. And they said, okay, we can try. And that's what happened.
Just a try.
I didn't have money to pay for the art, not the Ian's art, but to pay for the works of art in the game. The galleries have small works of art, and when I went to the Royal banks of image, they want a lot of money for the most known works of art. And I said, well, I don't have money for this, so what can I do? And I decided to send emails and on the forums of amateur artistic sites. I just left some questions saying, okay, I'm designing a game. If you want to send some art, I can offer you a game in exchange. And I receive a lot of paintings, a lot of pictures, a lot of things from amateurs people. And if you notice on the rulebook, their names are there. I place the names of everybody who send me those, and I send them a game. So because I didn't have money to make that game, and Eagle Griffin couldn't pay for me because they didn't know me. So with this guy is spending our money and we don't know him. But yeah, everything went well. Paul Incao, I met him during the developer. I met him also during the when I developed Kanban for Stronghold. And he said, okay, I can help you with the develop of the galleries. And I think it was Grogan. Yeah, Grogan was saying also, yeah, it was everybody at the same time. Grogan was saying, like, I would like to leave my profession now and start working on rulebooks and videos for games. Mm. And I said, okay, I need someone to edit my my rulebook on the galleries. So let's play together. And we are still also so we are still working together after a few years, like, I don't know, 6 years, 7 years already. Mm. Yeah, 7 games. Yeah, it was by chance. You can it's just the will that I had to publish a good game, and no, I have a good game here. I want to publish this. Nobody wants the game, and a great team behind it. Yeah, that just appeared. So I was lucky with that. I was lucky. Yeah.
Are there also publishers that you asked them to publish your game before working with EGG and they said, no, we think the game is broken? And so, for example, maybe a gallerist. So when you talk to some publishers and they say, no, we don't want to publish the game. And now they're saying, oh, why can we publish the game?
Well, probably not all of them, but I have refusers of many refuses from my game. For instance, I remember to send CO2 to Z-Man at the time. I don't know if you remember Z-Man, the guy who launched Pandemic, right?
For sure.
And then they were bought by another company, Philosophy, I think, and then Philosophy was bought by another company. So
is it Asmodee?
Everybody's buying everybody, Asmodee, yeah. So I sent the game to them and they didn't told me anything during like a year, and then they refused the game. So CO2, I remember What's Your Game had Kanban and the galleries for a few games also, for a few years also, and they didn't publish the game. I had to sell the game to another company. But right now, fortunately, I don't have a problem with finding a company to publish my games, but probably not all of them. I remember I sent Vinhos to Asmodee also, and a few more. I sent Vinhos for a lot of companies, the rulebook for a lot of companies. It was my first game, right? The only thing that I had, it was the map of Age of Steam from Portugal. That was published right now, but for the Rails of the World, Railways of the World. I had like many designers, right? Most of the designs, when you send your first games, they are refused. So, but I had lucky. What's Your Game published the game, and the game was okay. Vinhos was okay on the industry. And it was very well accepted, and I could then find someone to publish CO2, then Kanban. It's make me easy, and finally the galleries with this adventure that I just told you, and the galleries open my doors, for especially with Eagle Griffin Games and other companies. Then I receive a lot. I remember at that time I received a lot of invitations from other companies to send them games, but I cannot design more than one game a year. It's too much for me. I play test a lot. I cannot focus more than, well, maybe it's my limit. I can only make a game a year.
So you're not like Rainer Knizia with his over 500.
7,000.
No, or even David Turksey with so many games a year. He's doing game after game after game. I don't know how these guys can work, but it's a different process from mine. Yeah.
So Vital, when was the decision when you said, I stopped working for an advertising company and start doing game and business. And was there a part when you started your career as a game designer that you say, was it the right way to do it?
Well, I only left advertising last year. So I keep having some clients until last year, and last year I decided that I don't need more clients anymore. Thank God. So I'm a designer. I'm a game designer now. But I think the decision was there already. I just didn't want to risk my family because we have 4 people at this home and a dog. So but I keep doing advertising until last year. But I think the trigger was the gallerist also again. So yeah, I was feeling like that here. So 2015, I think. So that was a good year for me. But I keep working on advertising. I was afraid that I could make more games. You never know, right? Maybe you run out of ideas, or you cannot play test anymore, or COVID is there. So
yes, okay,
and yeah, so yeah. But right now, I'm dedicating to games 100 of my time. Well, not 100 of my time because I also play, or I'm learning to play. So an instrument. So like 10% of my time is to play the instrument, and 90% play testing games and designing games. Yeah.
So maybe the next one, Daniel said you're a rock star. Maybe you become a truly rock star.
Well, it's in my plans to make a jazz game, but I don't know if there are many people interested in jazz. But anyway. I'm a rock star. I can do whatever I want. So
yes.
Instant buy.
A jazz game would be an instant buy. I was in a jazz club 2003, I think it was in Prague, and this was the first time I was convinced in hearing jazz music, and this was the jazz club where Bill Clinton played the saxophone.
Really?
So you went downstairs to a cellar in Prague, and it was the atmosphere was kind of punky, but it was electric jazz or something like this. So and Miles Davis and as well and something like this was played there. So it was a really great atmosphere. So I would buy it for instant buy jazz game.
Well, I don't know if the game would be good or not. Hopefully better than the way I play. So, but we'll see. We'll see.
So, Vital, you said that you are still playing your games and you love your games, but is there one game or 2 games which are very special for you because of the theme or the development, or is there one special game which is rising up your heart?
Let me guess, it's Gallerist.
No, I don't think. Well, the Gallerist was the trigger, but I love I don't know. It depends on my mood, and sometimes I prefer to play Lisboa or the Gallerist, or to play Kanban. I don't know. It depends, but I usually say that my best game is the next one. That's why I want to do it. So I don't have a game that I love the most. Maybe I have a game that I love the least. But if I'm in the mood, I can play any of the games. I like them all. I really like them all. I don't mind to teach them to my friends and to play them. Sometimes I offered my games to them. So yeah, I don't have a favorite one. Right now I'm playing a lot of Kanban. I'm playing a lot of Weather Machine, of course, and I've been playing some Lisboa the other day with some friends. So tomorrow is game evening for me. The game nights for me is usually at Fridays, and we can now get together again. So I don't know. Probably they will pick up a game, but maybe Vinhos comes tomorrow. I don't know. We will see. But I cannot say that I love the game more than the others because Yeah, that's part of my philosophy. That is, I have two philosophies. I have to love the game before it releases. So, and I think it's the only advice that I can give to any designer or designer that want to be a designer, any starter that want to be a designer, is that you must love to play your games after they are done. Because it's been good for me, and I think it's a good advice. It will be terrible for you to design something that I really don't like to play. Yeah, that's not the goal of this game. It's not the goal of the game to design a bad game. It's the goal to design good ones, at least the ones you like. Many people may not like them, but that's the nature of the thing, right? Yeah.
Yep. For a few weeks, I talked to a designer, and they designed the game Feed the Kraken. It's like a pirate-themed social deduction game, which Secret Hitler inspired. And they developed the game also for 3-4 years ago, started developing the game. And I asked him, I said, so Michael, are you still loving play your game? And he said, so I played it so many times, I can't see it right now. So I need to have a break.
It doesn't matter. I play brass from Martin Wallace, I don't know, 500 times probably, at least 100 on the table. So that I have on BGG, and I played, he had, I don't know anymore, but he had a site where you could play brass online. Mm-hmm. And I played so many times, like 500 times probably. So, and I like to play brass. So if someone tells me, let's play brass, okay, I can play brass. I have 2 boxes of brass. One is completely, on brass, the oldest one, the first edition, you have the collars to place the coins there, the collars of the players. Mm. My board doesn't have collars anymore. So we play usually with metal coins. So the collars are there, but more or less there. And I have a box to open yet. So it's a new one because it's my favorite game of ever. And so, yeah, I like the first version.
That's a big compliment for
Martin Wallace.
Yeah, for sure.
I know Martin Wallace personally. He was I met him in Leiria Con. That is the biggest con in Portugal. From the guys from Leiria. Those are the What's Your Game guys right now, Nuno and Paulo. And I met him there, and I was designing CO2 at that time. And that was my the highest of my career, because at the table was Paulo, Martin Wallace, and Mark Gertz. And I was playtesting with them. And it was my second game. And, well, the playtest was, well, it was very good because I just trashed the game and start making a new one. So after that playtesting, yeah. That's a cool story because I have a picture with them. Yeah.
Cool.
It's in BGG. That's that playtesting. I will never forget that playtesting was the best one in my life. Yeah.
Sounds good. So is there a game in your collection you say, oh, this is my favorite game? I think Brass, you mentioned is Brass. Your all-time favorite game?
Yeah.
Okay.
All-time favorite game. It's Brass. Yeah. I like a lot of them. I'm a fan of Mind Clash games. I like Tricarion. I like Anachromy. I have the Cerebria. Cerebria. Yeah. I was talking with the the owner of Mind Clash the other day, and I couldn't remember the name of the game. Cerebrian. Yeah. You have there.
I also own all these games. I'm an owner of Tricarion, Cerebria. I own Anachrony.
I also have
Brass.
all of them. Yeah, yeah. So I basically like heavy games. I like Barrage. So that's what I look for. I like many games. I like Indonesia from those from what's the company? Oh, that is a big
Indonesia
fail for me.
Oh, for a few days we talked about it. Yeah,
a few days we talked about it. One of our listeners, Slivomat 5000,
wait.
he likes the game. I don't know exactly.
Indonesia is from the guys who made a lot of good games, and I can't remember the name. Oh my god!
So wait a second. I'm searching. For the
another
name.
games that I love, really like, is Terra Mystica and Through the Ages. I don't know. I have so many, man. I like Imperial. That's the old one from Mike Gertz. Yeah.
I have Concordia by Mike Gertz.
Yeah, I love Concordia also.
It's from Splotter.
Splotter games.
Oh yeah, of course.
The guys from Netherlands.
Yeah. I like their games also. I have a few. Indonesia is my favorite. There is Antiquity also from Splotter. That is also a good one. I'm not a fan of that game because too many skulls when you finish, and too many graves on the board. So that's the only reason I don't like the game. Well, I don't like to play it. I know that it's a very good one. That's just because of the visual at the end. It's too dark for me. Yeah. But I like many ones. That's basically, if you have Terra Mystica is one of my favorites also. If the game is a bit heavy and makes you think and have interesting decisions, that's what I look for. Yeah.
So
really great.
Let's have a switch. So now we talked about games you love, and let's start talking about your games which are in development. And so you start talking about Weather Machine, and there will also be an expansion for On Mars. Could you say something about these two things? Because I'm very looking forward for both of them. At first, I'm not sure that I need the expansion for On Mars, because I thought on Mars it's not in its complexity, but it's also the expansion, cooperative expansion. And
the expansion for On Mars is just like you can see as an addition for the game, not something that you add to the game. Well, let me try to explain this. The Kickstarter will be on July 15 for the expansion. The expansion is ready. I think the reviewers are already receiving the expansion, so you probably will see a few videos before the Kickstarter start about the game. But it's not a usual expansion like you have these models that you can add to the game, and now you can play the same game doing more stuff. No, it changes the way you play the game. The expansion was designed in the way to make it cooperative, because I think that the cooperative can help the players to understand better the game when you are playing cooperative, and then they can play the original game because it's competitive and they know the rules already. And what we designed this time, and what I designed, it was 4 chapters, and where you can play 5 players, 4 against 1, or 3 against 1, or 2 against 1. So all against 1. That is the invasion from an alien species. I know people just say, "Oh, but the On Mars is so scientific game." But well, I can't. That's the COVID. Probably I decided to design something more extraterrestrial. So, but yeah, the idea is like the aliens don't want us to spread. And they want us to stay in the Earth because we wreck everything, right? We are just like a virus that are destroying everything we are around. So they don't want us on Mars, or they don't want us to expand. So there are one player that is the 5th player in the game, that is the alien, and you are trying to protect your colony, and everybody is playing against the alien, and the alien is trying to destroy the colony and push you away. That's the first chapter. Then we have a chapter where the aliens, well, that's a story. You don't have to play all the chapters one after the other, but if you do, you will understand the story, because if you beat the alien, now they left something behind, and you have to also to go against it. In that case, it's a pure cooperative game where you are playing against the game. Okay. The 3rd chapter is the same. You are also playing against the game, and the 4th chapter is a solo experience. So you have goals that you can go after. Many people critiques the solo play of On Mars because it's too complex, and the player have to take some decisions that should be made by the bot. So I made a new solo way to play. Does not have a bot, but it's drive by goals. Okay, so those are the 4 chapters of the expansion. It makes different. It just delivers different ways to play on Mars. It doesn't change the core game. You can keep playing the core game, and if you want to play cooperative, it's easier for new players to understand the game because you are playing cooperative, right? And you can teach them during playing. So maybe it's another way for the players to try on Mars. Weather Machine is my next game. It's ready, but it's ready and it's not ready. It's ready from me. It's not ready from completely. But the Kickstarter, of course, Eagle Griffin always does a Kickstarter. It will be on the air around November, probably. I think it's November. Not sure about the date yet. And the game will be delivered next year, probably. But what it's about is a mad scientist called Latif that invented the weather machine. And the funny part is like, well, it's a steampunk environment, a little bit of fiction. That's why maybe that I bring the aliens too. It's because I'm a little bit lean to the fiction right now. It will change. It will change. But Weather Machine is a guy who works in a company that invented a machine that changes the weather, but the machine has a bug. It's not working properly, and every time he runs the machine, and the machine will run during the game, the weather becomes worse somewhere in the planet. Okay, so every time you run the machine, the experience is a success, but somewhere in the world the weather will become worse and worse and worse, and the players have to deal with it. And to deal with the worst weather, you have to make a new prototype, an improved machine. And that's the game. So all the players are scientists working for the same company, and you are trying to research and find a way to improve the machine and build a new one. That's the story of the game, basically. The game is very simple. You have like 1, 2, 3, 4 locations to play, not more than that. Just like, well, the galleries only have 4 locations to play, right? And you also have 2 actions. Yeah, you also have 2 actions. But the drive of the game is a little bit different. You need vouchers you have to pay to your currency is in form of vouchers that you get vouchers and spend vouchers to take the actions. If you don't have the vouchers you cannot take the actions. That's one of the most difficult parts to manage the game. And you are always low on vouchers, of course. You never have a lot of them. Well, maybe one time in the game you have a lot of them and say, oh, okay, I can do whatever I want. But 1 turn or 2 after okay, I don't have any vouchers anymore. But and you are doing some research, have some nice parts where you can publish your papers to make sure that the prototypes are running. You build your prototypes, you present the prototypes, and you gain awards. And because you are a good scientist and you are fixing the bad weather, and you can receive a Nobel Prize, and you finish the game and you may win. So yeah, that's the game. But it's fun. It's heavy, of course, and yeah, it's really heavy. But if you ask me about the difficulty of the game, I can say between Kanban and the gallerist, maybe. Maybe at the level of Kanban, the complexity of the game, it's easier than on Mars for sure, but it's a little bit more difficult than the gallerist, maybe, to understand the game. Since the team is a little bit of fiction, right? Some players can have more difficulty in understanding what they are doing, but it's very straightforward. Just like in Kanban, it's very straightforward. In Kanban, you have to get the plans, get the cars, and upgrade the cars and test them. Right? It's very easy. It's the game. You don't have much more for that. And in this case, you have to make the research, publish your papers, make the prototype, and that's it. So it takes you 3 hours to do this, and hopefully 3 hours with lot of fun and nice decisions to take. So we'll see. yeah, people is liking. I think the game is good. I'm very happy with it. So yeah.
I'm also
really looking forward. Yes.
Yeah, I saw the first pictures for about a year on Instagram or something like that, and I know that many things are changed since
everything was changed. Right, it's just my prototype.
I saw Latif a few weeks ago.
Latif is final. Yeah, Latif is final. Latif is final. You know that Latif is my alter ego because it's Vital from
Vital backwards.
Yeah,
yes.
Yes. I have Sandra already in my other games. That is my wife, so I want to be on the game too. So. Yeah, but it looks like a mad scientist from East, right? It's Latif. It's a name that is cool. So yeah,
sounds very great. So, does your family like your games?
Yeah, they do. Most of them. I play a lot with my wife, especially the 2-player game, to see if the game works well. I play a lot with her, the 2-player versions, and yeah, they like the games. My son is not very keen, but he's just like now 16, 17. His mind is elsewhere. So, but the oldest one that's already 21, 22 brings sometimes friends from the university to play games with us. So that's cool.
Sounds good.
Yeah, Vital. So when I went on your designer page on BGG, there's also a section where some prototypes are in development are signed, and there's one prototype. I'm really I can't say enough.
I couldn't believe it when you were talking about that.
And there will be, or it's actually in development, an expansion for Escape Plan, and it's called the Heath. And
really, you guys like Escape Plan?
I love it. It's one of my most favorite games. Cool. So that I love all the games I'm in my shelf. I'm loving, but on the first place is On Mars. The second one is Escape Plan. So and
because they are very different, right? So
correct.
Completely different games.
Correct.
I really love the theme in the game and the annotations concerning to Ocean's 11 and something like this in the game. And I really love that this game feels like a real heist, that you did something and that you have to leave the city. But there are different opinions. Because a friend of mine who love your game told me
does not like these ones. Yeah. Many people doesn't like this game. Others love it. Well, that's the way it is, right? People have different opinions, so I'm happy with it. There are a lot of, well, not a lot, but there are a few pools on Facebook and BGG on the media asking what is my best game, and nobody has a consensus. Some people say On Mars, others say Lisboa, others say the galleries, Vinho. So Escape Plan is never on the top, but many people like it. What I really like in Escape Plan is the last day. It's a lot of tension. So people have to make that real decision, the decision that will win or lose the game. And I think that was very well accomplished. Sorry for saying this, but I really like that part in the game. But I'm not being humbled on it. I know, but that's the part that the game, and I think it's very much well accomplished. That's the tension that grows a lot at the finish. But yeah, about your questions, it's not an expansion, it's a game. So the idea is to make the prequel of the escape. So, and I don't know if in Escape Plan the thief, the players, rob the bank, and now they are trying to escape. My idea to make the heist is to make the bank assault. Yes, so the players will assault the bank, but it will be a cooperative game. I don't know if you like cooperative games or not. So the idea is to have a cooperative game because all the thieves are trying to rob the same bank at the same time, right? So you have to make the plans for the bank, and if the plan succeeds, you can heist the bank. If the plans are not succeed, you are caught. So, and then if you can succeed, you can play Escape Plan because it's the next game. But yes, it's not an expansion, it's a game. I don't know when I will publish this one, because I just finished a cooperative game and I don't want to make another one already. I have plans to make at least 2 games before that.
Okay.
So we'll have to wait like a few years more.
Damn.
Audience, stay strong. Play other Vital games before that.
Sorry for that, wait. But well, I like to give time to the games and to the ideas to make them mature before I work on them. I can grab myself that I never put a team that I work hard to play tests of. No publisher change any of my teams ever. Many people say that the teams this is normal. The publishers all the time change the teams. Never happened with me. That's maybe because I place the games on the shelf and I think about them for a while before I start working on them. And I can say that any of my teams will change ever. So because the games are very based on the team, right? It will be difficult to change them. I don't know if I would like to let change one of my teams. Because my thoughts and my strategy and the way I work are based on them, so it would be a very different thing. That's it. So you have to wait for a few years.
Okay, so if I understand that right, so the idea is finalized. So you say the game will come, but there is no playtesting or there is no mechanic.
No, there is no mechanisms. I'm not working in the game yet.
Okay.
Well, I have the ideas. We discuss sometimes. I have some ideas. If I have ideas about the game, I wrote them down. But I'm not working hard on the game to be released.
Okay.
Usually, the game that I want to be released, I start working hard 1 year before. And I have plans for at least 2 games before I start working on that one. Sorry about that, Benjamin.
but then you have to do me a favor. If you start playtesting the Heath, please write me an email and I will do 8 hours of playtesting if I have to.
Well, hopefully there is no need. But I playtest a lot on Tabletopia. And so just join Tabletopia and just join. I usually playtest on Wednesday and Saturday for public, for anyone that wants to join. And I do this every week. So I'm playtesting now Bot Factory. That is a small game that takes like 1 hour. And it will be released. I think the plans are Kickstarter on March next year. But the game is ready. But if you want to play them, just join a few friends and I can find you. I can send you a link. It's a 1 hour game and I can explain it that like 10 minutes. If you know how to play Kanban, it's a fun one. I think it's fun than Mercado. Mercado is more synchy. This one is more fun.
Sounds great. And so the other ones, there's a list on BGG. It's so Bot Factory, you said some words about it. The Here, Neural Net, House of Fado, Escape Plan, The Heast, and The Band. So you're inspired in learning an instrument.
The ones that... the band is on my plans, but it doesn't have any. Well, it has some ideas, like just in the heist, but I'm not working on it. At least hard for its release. I work in a few games at the same time. Yeah, the band is the one that we talk about jazz. Maybe we'll see.
Please
I
do
have
that.
I have the Hire. That is the one that I want to release next year. It's a mystery murder game, so it's a little bit of a shift in my games. I don't know if you like the team or not, but we'll see what happens. It's a little bit based on. There's a movie. Oh, I can't remember the name. My memory is terrible right now. Well, it's a murder game. So it's just like. I hopefully have Cluedo. So we'll see. You know the Clue, the game? Clue, the game.
Yes.
Yeah.
Cluedo or Clue, I don't know in German what the name. Yeah, it's based on that one. And then we see. I have more plans, but we'll see what happens.
Okay, I myself have one final question for me. So
Yeah.
I made some keywords, and they were all mentioned by your utterances. So special topics were mentioned, and future plans. So my thinking is how does Vita Lacerda work? So what I recognize is you have ideas for topics until 2035, and
At least.
you just have the cupboard where you put out the idea, and then you work on that and play tests. How many games you have in your mind right about now? What do you think?
I have a lot of games in my mind, but I usually work in one or two at the same time, never more than that. And the way I work, I sit in my chair and I go to the computer and write things about the game, and then I make a prototype, I play test it, and if I like what I see, I usually send the playtest, send the prototype to a shelf, and it stays there until I finish the games I'm working hard to publish, and then I come back to them and see if the idea are good or is not good, or should I keep working on this or I should go and change to another game. But basically it's like this. Is once I decided that I want to publish the game or I want to finish the game, I work on the game every day until it's ready. I play test a lot during at least a year, and I work on the rulebook. I work with, I develop the ideas with the developers like Polling Cow and the playtesters. We discuss a lot the ideas. I write the rulebook, and that's it. Then I wait for the art and make the layout of the rulebook and send everything to Ego Griffin, and that's the game here. Just please produce this the best we can. And they do it usually. So, and then, the game will arrive to us. So hopefully, I usually receive the games before you, right? because I need to check. I also check if everything is okay in the box. Mm-hmm. So if all the components are there before the factory starts the mass production, I always receive a game, a pre-production game, where I check everything, if the components are okay, if the ticker of the cardboard is good, if everything is working well. I play test the game a few times, then I say okay or not, or change something, and then they produce the game. That's it. So not much to tell. It's the same as anything, right? So it's the same way as anything. That's basically, I would say that's hard work, because the ideas is like 10% of the game. Mm. You can say, okay, I have a great idea for a game. I'm a designer. Well, you are not. You need to make the game first, and the game takes a lot of time. And the 10% of the idea, of the 5% of the idea, is not enough to make a game. That's a lot of work, and many people involved to do it. Yeah, and before I start making games, I don't mind to give like a 6 or 4 or 3 to a game, because I don't like it. It's a 3. But right now that I know the work it takes, it's very rare for me to give a bad note. I just prefer not to give a note, ranking, or just give a higher one because of the work that it takes. And for many people, that works on the game. Yeah.
Okay.
Even the smaller ones, they take a lot of time, and many people is involved. Yeah.
I have also 2 or maybe 3 last questions. One question is, when are you starting playing board games? And the second one, what was your first board game? And the third one, why are you so impressed by this hobby, and why is it board games and not other things?
Oh, well, maybe because I played board games all my life, right? And I started playing as everybody. I don't know if it was with Monopoly or with Mastermind or chess, maybe. I don't know. I played since I remember me. So, and I had a lot of games when I was a kid. I even designed a version of Monopoly without dice because I didn't like the lack of the dice. So, and I was very young. But mostly because I had a friend couple that we met every Friday. Even before I know BGG, we met every Friday to play card games and to play mahjong. I played mahjong. My parents lived on China for a while, and they bring me mahjong, and we played mahjong a lot. But every night we played mahjong because we didn't know any other games. And one day, probably, I don't know, 2005 maybe, 15 years ago probably. I said, well, it must be there must be more. There must exist more games than mahjong in the world. Let me go to the internet and seek some for some. And BGG just appeared, and I said, "Oh, this is a new world for me." And I started playing the games from BGG. At the time, Puerto Rico Pro was the number one. I can remember Tigres and Euphrades. I played a lot. Kailus was also on the top. Those old games, and Imperial also was there. And I was impressed with so many games and so good games. And I remember that I ended up like 2 years after I had like 300 games already. I don't have so many games right now. But at the beginning, I ended up with 300 games, and I played all the games, and I played almost every day. And that's it. And one day, like 2007 maybe, I thought I would maybe I have something here that I would like to try to design and see what happens. And I designed the map of Age of Steam, one of my favorite games ever. I still have a lot of maps there, and I uploaded the map, and people start downloading it, and I got some very good reviews, and I said, okay, I have an idea for a game, let's try this. And my friends were heavy gamers at the time. I have a nice heavy gamer group. Most of them now only play 18xx probably, maybe. And I said to them, okay, I have a game that I'm trying to design, let's try it, do you mind? And they say yes. And it was Vinhos, but at the time it took us like 1 hour to set up the game, and we just give up. We didn't play anything. It was just 1 hour for setup. Well, the game is not working. But yeah, I knew that I had a good idea there, and I started designing Vinhos, and I keep doing it. And I thought that I finished. I wrote the rules, and I sent for a lot of companies. The companies, some answer me, some refuse the game. And What's Our Game said, okay, I like the idea. Let's publish the game. And that's where everything started. And I think maybe I have something here to do. I was working on advertising for a long time, and I was a little bit tired of it and getting old. So, and as you noticed, I like to talk. So, and board games is the best way to talk with people, right? So we play, we talk, we drink. So that's a big party. And yeah, I'm having right now, I can say that I'm having right now my dream job. Yeah. I'm getting there. Yeah.
Fantastic.
Amen.
Yeah, I'm very happy right now.
If you talk to my wife, she would say, oh my God, why always board games? Why do you talk about board games? When friends visit us, they don't want to listen to your board game stories, blah, blah, blah.
That's boring, I know. Well, I make an effort to not talk about board games all the time unless I have friends that are playing board games. And I have some, so yeah. That's cool. But I try to talk about other things too. We have to, right? We cannot we cannot try. We cannot talk about board games all the time, right? So, yeah. We talk about football. I also like sports. I like a lot of sports, radical sports. I kite surf during like 15 years before. And I still snowboard. So I don't go to Germany because you don't have slopes, but I go nearby. I go to France and Switzerland, and when I can, to snowboard a little bit. I really miss it because of COVID. We stopped traveling, right? And once a year, I go to Essen, and I really love it. I love to go there.
Just so
I usually say I was saying that usually is when I present my game for that year, and again I like to talk with people, so that's a big problem for me if I'm isolated at my home.
I think the tension is rising because Essen is planning a fair this year, so maybe it will happen this year.
Yeah, Eagle Griffin talked with me and asked me if I want to go. I said, of course I want to go. I don't go there for 2 years already. For last year we didn't have Hessen last year, and that's 3 or 4 days that I really love. I love the beer. I love to talk with people. I like to present my games, and I like to sell them also. So seeing people going out with those big boxes is a big pleasure for me because it's my work. Okay. And being appreciated and recognized by many players. That's cool.
Yes. So, Vital, I have to say thank you so much that you had time for us, that you give so special views about your work and how you develop your games and what's behind those games. And I hope that the audience got many informations also about things.
Don't get bored with so many talking, right?
No, so normally I'm the guy who is talking so much. There are some people who are subscribing our videos and said, when Potty is talking so much, the best is when Daniel is talking about board games. So for me it's very nice to have some people who are talking much more than me.
Oh, sorry about that.
No, it's perfect.
Yeah, it's fun. It's fun to be here.
It was really interesting to get your view and your interests and your highlights during your career. So it was very, very interesting. And for me, I have to say it's a real highlight because I love your games. So you're one of my favorite designers. I have to say you're my favorite designer. So that's a highlight for me. Yeah. So thank you.
And thank you for the invitation. And it's a pleasure to be here. And if you want to cut half of it, you can. So.
No,
that won't happen.
Yeah. Everything's fine. And I hope to see you sometimes in the future again.
Well, maybe Essen. Yeah.
Maybe I'm really looking forward.
We can talk about it. Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
Or in Essen. Vital.
You guys are very pleasant, and so I like to be here also. So cool.
So okay, it's okay. When we meet, you get some beer. It's everything's okay.
I'm going to get a beer because I'm losing my voice and my throat is completely dry right now. Okay, yes. Guys, thank you very much for the invitation.
Yeah, thank you so much. Danke Leute, dass ihr eingeschaltet habt.
You are not gay. Thank you.
Yeah.
See you soon.
Bye bye. Ciao.
Bye Daniel. Bye Benjamin. Thank you very much.